YouTube, I'm going to show you how to tune a throttle position sensor, get it dialed in on a GM 2.8. This may be universal to other cars, it may not be, I don't know. I have a 2.8 and so that's what I'm doing it on. So what you're going to need is a multimeter and an 8mm. And you're going to also need the key in the on position. Key in the on position, sending power to this, expecting a signal back. So what you need, you pull this clip out. There we go. And your gray wire on here is your positive, your black wire is your negative, and your blue is your what the thing's sending the computer. So take the red lead, stick on gray there. It helps when you turn it on. Stick it on gray, should be reading nothing. Negative point on the battery, 5 volts, right where you want it. That is how much that's outputting. And then take the red lead to the battery, and you take your black lead to the ground. Try not to cross these because I've heard you can fry the computer doing this. I haven't found out because I don't really want to fry my computer. Anyway, 12 volts battery, ground on there, solid ground, we're good. 12.39 volts, right about where you want it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take black lead, stick it on the battery, and take the positive lead, and you actually want to plug this in now, right there. And you're going to be pulling the voltage from that blue lead. So you kind of got to jam it in there a little bit. So you can see mine's reading 0.42. Mine's reading exactly where you want it to be reading, right? But say it's reading 0.52 or 0.39. You want it between 0.42 and 0.45. So that's where the little 8mm comes in. All you gotta do is break these nuts loose, and I don't recommend. Is this a 9mm? Was I wrong? I was wrong. Looked like an 8. Sorry about that. 9mm apparently. You take, and you just kind of crack these loose. They don't need to be out all the way. Just loose enough to where you can wiggle that throttle body. Or not throttle body, throttle position sensor. And now make sure the blue lead's jammed all the, or red lead is jammed all the way in on the blue wire, where it's getting accurate voltage. And you can see as I move this, the voltage will fluctuate. So I'll move it all the way up, 0.54. Jay's taking a good shot of that? Mm-hmm. Nice. Move it all the way down, get it all the way down to 0.17, right? If I try to fire up the car right now, it'll probably not run that great because that is telling the fuel injectors, telling the computer to send less fuel through the fuel injectors to have a lean running condition because it thinks the throttle isn't as open as it is. Set it up too high, it'll be running rich. So what you need is you need to set it right where it's around 0.43, 0.44, right about there you can see. And this thing's kind of tricky to keep perfect while you're doing it. So if we could get a hand from my cameraman, Jace, if you think you could hold this exactly in the spot where I got it right now. All you gotta do is tighten it back down. Don't get these too tight. This is plastic. GM like to use plastic on everything, and we are paying the price. This stuff is fragile. So it came up to 0.46. It's wanting to read a little high, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this. I'm just gonna try to push it down a little bit. I know that top bolt's tight. I think I can get a little bit of movement out of this thing. It's at 0.45. That's the upper range where we want it, but I'm okay with that. Just want to come up to 0.46 again and break that loose. Just kind of work it down a little bit. When I did this the other day, it was doing the same thing. As you tighten it, it's going to want to bring up the voltage. So what you can do, set it like 0.42 will be happy. And after you're at 0.42, as you're tightening it up. If you don't see it come up, a little bit of force up there, 0.43. You gotta be pretty precise and just kind of play around with it till you find its happy place. Or are these just sitting here and spinning? Well, that's all it is. So I can take now? Smooth idle, no problems whatsoever. Snappy throttle response, it's right where you want it. No issues at all.